guys, what's going
Oh
on?
my god. Oh, don't
back.
yell. Don't yell. Don't ever yell.
Welcome back to the Misfortune Podcast, starring Julius, now with AirPods. Isn't that amazing, guys?
Yeah. The
You got a little
AirPod
taste
episode.
of it. The AirPod arc, possibly. I hope
Maybe.
to fucking Christ not. But you know what? It's the circumstances.
God.
You know, it's just the way it is right now.
We have gone through hell trying to record this specific episode.
Pain.
Pretty much. So in even in the past episodes, it's been an issue, and we never knew what it was.
Right.
So pretty much the deal is, when we were recording, I would cut out.
Yep.
And it'd be like sometimes for like 5 whole seconds. I'd
Legitimately.
be cutting out. And, you know, obviously that's not viable for a podcast. And so we always assumed, since most of the time it was me cutting out, that it was my end. So we tried to record, today is the 28th, March 28th. We tried to record last Wednesday, which was the 24th.
Yep.
Just couldn't do it. We tried multiple times, didn't work.
Could not be done.
We called it off and we were like, all right, Sunday. And so normally I record on my laptop, and we were like, all right, why don't you record on your PC?
Right.
So I was like, okay, cool. We record on my PC, same exact thing happens. We're like, what's going on?
So it had to be me at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. So we tried everything. We tried Discord, we tried the server, and we finally pinpointed it down to Julius's Wi-Fi. It was Julius's Wi-Fi the entire time.
And it actually makes sense. It actually makes more sense that you were cutting out more because you're coming from another internet. So
Right.
That should have made sense to me in the first place, but you know, Caden's cutting out, so it has to be him.
Yeah.
We didn't fucking figure that out, but now we're here, boys. I'm on AirPods, and we're ready to talk about some shit.
Hey.
Some shit.
No matter what, the episode must go on.
The pod is going on. The pod is fucking going on, boys. So
yes.
So today, you know what? This all just feels. I'm always in my chair, in front of my fucking monitor, and it feels a lot more high strung. You know, I'm chilling on my couch right now with my AirPods on, and it exudes a different vibe. You know, I don't know.
The couch setup.
So if I'm not as passionate as I usually am in episodes, it may be because I'm fucking lazing around on a couch right now. But that's neither here nor there. All right. So this week
we switched roles from the Attack on Titan episode when I was just silent.
I've already said next week instead of last week instead of last month.
No, so don't worry. I do it all the time.
No. I'm contributing to that meme.
Oh, of course.
So this month it is my turn. It was my turn to select the show, and I was just looking at my list and I was thinking, I mean, what else can I fucking pick? But my number one anime, Mob Psycho 100 of Studio Bones. This is like my second year of really being into anime, and I think I watched it like after JoJo's. I was looking for a new show, and I was like, what could possibly replace JoJo's? And this came in and fucking fucked JoJo's asshole dry. So you know,
I didn't realize you'd seen that show so long ago.
No, yeah, I watched it like right after it was done not right after, but like after it was done airing. Because I spread it out a lot. It took me a while to actually get through the whole thing.
Right.
But yeah, I loved it, and so I was just thinking, here's a fucking show that I love. I'm gonna share it with Caden boys. What did you think? General thoughts. General thoughts.
Okay. Well, so I assume we're doing this like we've tried to do the past 8 million attempts.
Right.
Just sort of go season by season.
Season by season, yeah.
Yeah. So first season starts out obviously, a little episodic, which sometimes I'm not the biggest fan of. Sometimes I guess it sort of depends on the show. And in this case, I think, in my opinion, the way that they did it works. And you can tell they were sort of, in my opinion, they were sort of introductory episodes, sort of like, hey, this is what's going on. This is the world. Here's some characters.
Right.
And it was like more of a, not necessarily lax, but like, it was a, we're going to slowly
wasn't
get
high
into
stakes.
this.
It wasn't extremely high stakes, basically.
Right. So I like that they did that. I think that it definitely serves its purpose, sort of being like, hey, this is what's going on.
Welcome to
This
Mob
is the
Psycho
world.
100.
Yeah, welcome to Mob Psycho 100, pretty much. And I enjoyed them. I mean,
yeah, sure.
It was good fun episodes, and but then you start to get into these arcs,
the big arcs,
which I guess we'll get into here in a minute, but
yeah,
and that's sort of like, okay, we're gonna take what you already know and we're going to expand on it a little bit, and we're gonna challenge some of these ideas that we've just put into your mind,
right? Yeah,
sort of.
That's a good way of saying it.
Yeah, and so I like definitely how they did that, and it was like hey, you just got put into this world, now we're gonna throw it up a little bit.
Yeah, they're gonna throw it up, boys. They're gonna fucking throw that psychic ass back, if you will. And so, yeah, I guess we can just get into the first season then, because that's how we usually structure shit around here.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna talk about the shit I loved, and so I mean I love the first few episodic episodes, for lack of a better term, and I didn't appreciate them as much on the first watch because it's just like, hard. It was harder for me to get into. I was like, what the fuck is this shit? What is this? What is this psychic show? This is no One Punch Man. Come on, One Punch Man. You had the fucking the epic punches and the kicks and the blah, and it didn't exactly do that. But despite that fact, it still had phenomenal animation from episode 1. It's phenomenal. And I will say something about Mob Psycho in that it's always, to me, phenomenal at communicating its tone. Like, I can look at a screenshot and like that exudes a very specific tone to me. They have a lot of comedic times where the art style's more and animation's more comedic. Like when Reagan's fucking doing like his dramatic fucking super shaded faces and shit, and he's doing the smears when he's moving his arms around like really fucking quick. Then you have the fucking action, which is obviously phenomenal. I love the action. It's probably some of my favorite action I've ever seen in a show, which I will elaborate on more later, especially with season 2. And something else about the early episodes is it's kind of a comfort show for me, honestly. I really love Mob and Reagan's relationship, despite the fact that he seems like he's really using him in the first season, and they get into that later. But no, I love the first few episodic episodes. It's one of the few that I actually really like that sort of format. And then you get into the episodic shit actually stops in after
episode 2, I thought. Episode 2 or 3?
I think it's 3, and because 3 is the last. Yeah, 3 is the last episodic sort of episode, because it's the Dimple episode when he first gets introduced, and the Smile Cult, which I love that shit. And I just really like Dimple in general, and I think they built up his character from that point onward to eventually change in the second season, which was fucking amazing. And even just that first fight, because you get that build up, you get that initial build up of progress towards Mob's explosion in the first 2 episodes, which I thought was just a great way of building up suspense for what ends up being an amazing first explosion, which really got me hooked into the show on my first viewing. I was like, oh fuck, he's fucking awesome. Which I think I kind of missed the point at that point, but it's like, no, this is not awesome. He is hurting people.
Sucks.
This fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Which that gets expanded a little more in the Teru arc, which is the first like sort of arc, which is like 2 episodes long. I love the fucking the Teru arc, dude. I love Teru as a character. I thought he was like hilarious just from the beginning. Like one of his first lines is like, "After all, I'm the main character of my own life."
Yeah, and I love the main character stuff.
He's standing on top of a fucking building. Yeah, the main character stuff I really liked.
And it's a good motif too.
It is, for sure, because it's all about, change, and the show's all about change and taking action to change certain aspects of yourself for the better. And I really appreciate that. But I love the Teru arc especially just because of that's what really got me into the show. Actually, was the Teru arc, because of how emotionally it was delivered. Their whole conflict is extremely tense. When he's fucking strangling him, and it still manages to be funny all the while. He gets his fucking hair chopped off by Mob, which I fucking loved.
Well,
and yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's one of the things that, I mean, I didn't even really realize until you were just talking about it just now. I think one of the show's biggest strengths, in season 1, but also especially season 2, which we'll get into, is the fact that they can really they can balance the crazy action and like really heavy stuff with like a lot of comedic tones.
Yeah, the funny ha-has.
And they do it really well. Like, you'll have Teru and Mob fighting it out, and Teru like screaming at Mob and demanding that he fight him, choking Mob, and Mob sitting there crying because he has to hurt him. I'm pretty sure that's what that one was.
No, he didn't want to have to hurt anyone with his powers.
Yeah, and then you have Tatum getting his hair chopped off, which is literally used as a joke through like the rest of the show.
Yeah, so I fucking love it.
And so, I think it's one of those things where it's like they put comic relief in when you need it, but then they're also able to end the comedy when you need it ended, and it's sort of like this is definitely a more serious thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so I definitely really like that aspect of the show, and I think they just did a really good job in that, and that like going into it, I thought it was a comedy, and then like coming out of it, it's like, you can't really classify this as one genre because it's
it's a multitude,
it's literally 2 in 1. So I thought they did that really well.
That was definitely one of my major takeaways on the first viewing of that show. Was like, man, that's something I want to do as a fucking writer, is be able to juggle tones like that, because it's easy. I don't necessarily know how, but like I'd imagine it's easier to keep a more consistent tone throughout based on your idea of what like how light or dark you want your story to be. But like going from one extreme to the other extreme is just seems like a fucking feat to me. And I have to commend the show for that. But honestly, I really also like the Teru arc because it's emotional intensity, and because we see that there's other forms of 100% emotions that Mob can feel, such as his sadness, which I thought was a fucking beautiful scene, compounded with the fucking OST in the background, and fucking just the whole image of him crying at 100%. I thought was really fucking powerful.
Yeah,
and those episodes were what really got me into the show.
Well, that's another good part of the show is you brought up the emotions.
Yeah.
And
it's
that
the core.
Right. And going into it, I sort of expected it to be like he just hits 100%.
And then they die.
And then goes crazy and explodes and everyone's dead. But in reality, they actually make it a whole lot deeper, where Mob has a very personal connection with his powers and with the situations that are going on, and depending how he feels that, or depending how he feels about it, that can change the whole situation. Like when he's pissed, that whoever he's fighting is dead. Like they're about to be gone.
He's the most powerful character in the show, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Whereas when he's sad, he'll sort of like he'll be very hesitant to fight, or when it's like not necessarily a happy emotion, but like one of those relief sorts of things, then he'll try to talk it out or work it out, sort of. And so that makes him definitely a lot deeper of a character, a lot more deep of however the fuck you say it. That makes his character more deep.
Sure.
And that, he has a very personal connection, and everything is very attached to his emotion, sort of.
Yeah. Well said. That's one of the author of Mob Psycho 100's strengths, is being able to analyze things, like, analyze your expectations of a show. Like, he wrote One Punch Man. I mean, you see Mob Psycho 100 and you just think, man, he's just going to finish off every fucking guy in sight. But no, he flips it on you, and he analyzes the more personal aspect of what the implications are of people having psychic powers. And that gets analyzed a little more in the second half of this. It gets analyzed in the first part for sure. Like, I love the club, their wholesome 100, but also they serve as a good metaphor for what Mob wants to do with his psychic powers, which is like, they don't use their muscles to fucking just beat the shit out of people all the time. And any violence they get into is usually out of self-defense or defense of others. And I thought that was good, and I didn't really notice that on the first watch, but that was a neat detail. But then, you get into the next arc of the show, which is Ritsu getting powers, and they actually built it up pretty well, I think, in the first place. It shows the results of his past before his past, and I admire when a piece of media can do that. Like, at first he's just like, the cool. Well, I thought he was the big brother, but he actually turns out to be the little brother, and he's like the cool brother guy. He's just like, hey, you're all right, bro? Yeah, we'll always stick out for each other. But then you actually learn that back when they were kids, Mob accidentally hurt Ritsu with his powers, and that's kind of why Mob feels this way about his powers, is because he doesn't want to hurt people like his brother ever again. But all Ritsu took away from that was like, man, I'm fucking weak. Like, I'm fucking weak. He's dangerous. Like, why don't I have these powers? And so the first time I watched it, I was like, what the fuck are they doing? They're giving other people powers. What are we doing, folks? But it actually ended up being really interesting for his character once I learned about his backstory and everything. Well,
I feel sort of the same way about the thing with Ritsu having powers, that that's sort of similar how I felt with Attack on Titan, how we were watching that. I was sort of afraid when I found out, spoilers for Attack on Titan, but everyone watches Attack on Titan, so it doesn't matter.
I'll put a timestamp for you to skip to if you don't want to hear fucking Attack on Titan spoilers, whatever.
That's how I felt with Attack on Titan, sort of, when Annie was revealed to have the Titan powers, and it was like, well, she's a Titan, so I guess that's cool. There's one more, and then Bertolt, and then Reina, and then Ymir, and it was sort of like, okay, so they're giving everyone Titan powers.
Yeah,
but then you find out it's one of those like limited sort of things, and like only certain people,
very few.
Not necessarily only certain people can have these powers, but only certain people will have these powers.
Right.
And that's, sort of how I felt with Mob Psycho, where at first I was like, oh, cool, they're going to give everyone psychic powers now. But then, it was sort of revealed, like, these are the boys, these are the characters we're going to be with. And, these are the characters that are sort of going to stick with you throughout the show. And it was a good way of establishing, like, a connection between all of them and something that they relate to. And on that note, I think that they also did a very good job with the Ritsu and Mob thing, how both of them wish that they have something the other one has.
Yeah.
You know, in Ritsu's case, he wishes he had powers, and then in Mob's case, he wishes he had popularity.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that creates a really interesting dynamic between the two. And again, you know, puts a lot of emotion actually into the fight, which I think it's pretty easy to say that emotion in fights always make the fights better.
Right, even if like the animation isn't top tier or anything like that. Yeah.
Right. You can't judge
It's
fighting based off of
memorable.
animation, but you don't have to worry about that in this show
Yeah. No, yeah. You get both.
because it's fucking stacked.
And that's what I love about it, is that you can have both. No, yeah, that's another thing I appreciate about the show is the concept of, I guess in the words of Reagan, like your powers are really just another characteristic that you have. It doesn't make you more special than anyone else necessarily, and that's that was why that little dynamic that Mob and Ritsu had worked was because at the end of the day in the show it's established that psychic powers really aren't that special, and of course that gets incorporated into the plot more later. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed that little arc with Ritsu and the student council president. It really showed how it really showed how different powers can be abused, like how Ritsu abused his fucking power by just going and beating up random school gangs, and you had the fucking student council president abusing his power and fucking over good people just because of certain characteristics that they have. And yeah, that's why I really enjoyed that arc. But it all sort of led up to the big boy arc of the first season, which is the Scars arc, which I loved this time. Last time I was like, it's good, I like it, but this time I fucking loved it, dude. Yeah, what do you think of the Scars arc?
So, yeah, I think the Scars arc was definitely a good. Hey, there's a bigger world out there, sort of arc. Because before it had all pretty much been like isolated school stories.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like adults. There are adults in the show.
Yep.
Which that's again really interesting because this entire show is like very based off of like kids and kids issues.
They're in middle school, which usually it's not typical for anime. It's usually fucking high school kids dealing with this shit.
Right. And so no, but it's definitely a good way of saying like there's a bigger world out there.
Yeah.
And no, I mean I definitely liked it. It you have a lot of fun when you're doing it or when you're watching it. And no, I mean I don't have like a ton to say about it, but I definitely think that it's a good like final boss, but at the same time it definitely says like this isn't the final boss.
This isn't it.
There's another guy out there.
Yeah.
And also
Shonen.
Right. And it provides for obviously awesome some of the best fights in the show.
Right.
There's a lot of funny moments. They say imposter in the dub, which Julius will be putting in now.
Hope y'all enjoyed that.
Yep. But no,
what's over here?
I enjoyed it for sure.
No, you make a good point with the adults being introduced into the world, because I mean, he fought Dimple, but like he's just kind of a little shitty spirit, and like Mob is already sort of like established to be like superior to spirits, and he kind of just like fucking snuffs them out. But like whenever Koyama first shows up in that alleyway, it definitely has a different like weight to it. Like, oh, this is a fucking adult with psychic powers coming through and fucking kidnapping Ritsu. And we get one of my favorite cuts in the show from Yutaka Nakamura, one of my favorite fucking animators. He usually works with Bones and My Hero Academia in particular. He's even done shit on like Soul Eater and he's done cuts on there that I like. But the fucking phenomenal scene where Mob like goes fucking rage mode for the first time and just meteors this fool into a fucking building, which was amazing. A lot of people cite that as their favorite fight, but oh hell no. But then you get into the Scars arc, which I love because it it establishes, or doesn't establish, rather, it brings it all back to the sort of things and themes that make this series unique as a shonen. First of all, they use self-defense in this show most of the time, honestly, like, or at least Mob does. You know, Teru's out there fucking fighting people. He doesn't give a shit. But you could even argue that's self-defense at the end of the day. But yeah, and like everybody uses self-defense mechanisms, like instead of just fucking defeating the fire guy, which is one of like the mini bosses in the Scar arc, defeating the fire guy with my awesome psychic powers and choking him to death or some shit. It's like, nah, I'm just gonna use a barrier to burn you with your own fire,
Right.
which I thought was fucking awesome, and I didn't really notice on the first watch until I started thinking about the self-defense thing throughout. And that's even repeated again in the final battle with Reagan telling Mob to run away and just being okay with running away, which in shonen it's usually like, you don't fucking back down, you gotta keep fighting. But that's what made that entire last section unique and mature, was not only that element, like it's okay to fucking run away, but like also the fact that these are legitimately just adults, like fighting middle school kids. And
Right.
Reagan points this out in like the last episode, and he's like,
Yeah,
what
he's
the
like,
fuck
what are
are
you
guys
doing?
what are you doing with your lives? You're playing this sword guy apparently had hardened his sword using his psychic powers, but at the end of the day, it's just a toy sword. And there's the guy with the fucking shoulder pads that he says are useless, which I thought was funny. And again, all of those things are invalidated. They're all like just man children with inferiority complexes who can be toppled by a guy who has no psychic powers, just fucking charisma. And with that charisma, he can just come through and become the boss of the organization without necessarily having any psychic powers. He just happened to be there at the right place at the right time, which I thought was fucking perfect.
Yeah.
His special moves are awesome. I love his fucking special moves. One of my favorites is Hypnosis Punch, where he goes up and punches a guy in the face after like baiting
With the
him into
clock.
thinking, yeah, after baiting him into thinking that he's fucking getting hypnotized. There's a lot of good special moves with Reagan, but no, yeah, that's why I really love the Scar arc on this rewatch. It was so fucking entertaining. I laughed a lot, like laughed out loud a lot, and I just thought the whole thing was great. And yeah, no, there's the whole Reagan fight is fucking phenomenal. Versus the fucking the boss with the gas mask, who's like
Yeah.
the epitome of a man child. And I just, when they started fucking making those noises, I was just like, this fucker is unhinged. And then we get introduced. Another great thing about this arc is we get introduced, and it's like, yeah, you guys really aren't that good at all, because here comes this fucking kid who just like punched your boss, and they're gone. Like,
Yeah.
they're knocked the fuck out. In the form of Show, who's a major player in the second half of season 2, if I'm being honest. But I fucking loved him. And yeah, we did get the build up with the post credit scene for the second season, and there's another big boss. We're probably gonna fight him next time. And yeah, no, so I love the Scar arc, and just season 1 overall was way better for me on this rewatch. So I slapped a 10 on that shit. I love season 1, man. I could talk about for hours about that shit. So I'm moving to season 2,
Yes.
which I think is stronger in its episodic entries. You
So
honestly, yeah, go ahead.
I forget. So what are the episodic ones in this?
Episode
in season
1,
2?
Episode 1, you get the one where Mob dates a girl for the first time, and he runs for student council president. Well, barely even runs,
Yeah.
but yeah, you get that episode where he puts the story back together. Then the second episode, you have the Urban Legends one, which, yeah, admittedly was a little more forgettable and didn't entirely seem to tie into the themes of the second season. And then you had the third one, which was again another sort of anthology kind of episode where you had the stalker in the other apartment and the teenagers
Yeah.
with the fucking ghost family.
Yeah.
Then you get into the arcs, which are vastly superior to the first 3 episodes. But I think they're honestly really fucking good because they establish the themes of the second season. And the reason I say that is the first episode in particular, I think, establishes this theme of genuineness, which is a big part of season 2.
Right.
Whether or not Mob actually likes this girl that's asked him out on a date, and whether or not she even liked him in the first place, because she dated him on a bet because he fucked up a student council president. Whether or not her feelings are genuine for him, and whether or not his feelings are genuine for her, she calls his feelings for her into question. She's like, "You probably don't even give a fuck about me," and he's like, "No, I do." He just has a tough time expressing it, and but his genuine emotions are honestly portrayed through his actions, which is like using his powers to put together to put her story back together that her friends ripped up, which I thought was fucking beautiful. And it carries out throughout season 2, because season 1, I feel like you could kind of like walk away from season 1 with the impression that like it's almost like anti using your psychic powers, but season 2 sort of reaffirms that no, your psychic powers are a part of you, and to use them for good is honestly the best thing you can do, which is what he does. He uses them for good. He uses them to save the girl in the Mogami arc later on. He uses it to fucking save the I forgot his fucking name, but like the big boss man at the end. And that's what I fucking love about the season, is the way that the themes tie together is fucking mwah. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And the Reagan arc, which we'll get into, obviously. But yeah, if you forgot the fucking episodic things, I mean, I'm gonna guess they didn't really leave an impression on you.
No, not really. I mean, yeah. I forgot them, but I remember enjoying them while they happened. So
yeah, while they happen, yeah, sure. In your words, you can enjoy fucking any piece of media if it's not the original Tron, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Except for the original Tron, which is the worst piece of cinema ever created. Not even a joke. I fucking hate that movie. Jesus.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Tron episode, boys.
Nope.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I think I enjoyed it looking back on it. I don't. It's kind of weird with that one guy, the other psychic.
The other Bancho Maru or whatever his name is. Yeah.
He's just sort of there.
Yeah. I agree. Well, yeah. No, I don't know. He's just another side character. I agree with that.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I like it, and I think it's obviously you get. I say obviously. I think when this season starts, you get a very clear indication it's going to be more geared towards Mob's emotions and his personal connections.
Exactly, exactly, because Mob's ideals and how he should act in life aren't really explored in the first season. It's more so Reagan telling him what he should do in the first season, as opposed to him acting completely on his own. I mean, Reagan is literally the person who carries the climax at the end. But this season, you're right, it's a lot more about Mob and what he can do and how he can change in different ways. And that's what I think definitely makes this fucking season superior to season 1.
Right.
For sure. And that all sort of... Oh, actually, before I also like the episode. I didn't appreciate it on the first watch, but I liked the episode with the Ghost family because I feel like whether or not they were legitimately a family and whether or not it was right to save them, Mob just would not have felt good erasing them, and so just went with his heart, chose how he chose. And again, it brings back the theme of genuineness. Like, is this family legit?
Yeah.
What's genuine at the end of the day is Mob's ability to act, and that and that is why he chose ultimately not to act. They're harmless. They're not doing shit, and it also serves as like the first like other extreme of what Mob should do, because they are harmless. Ultimately, they're not really doing shit to anybody. They have the potential. They have the potential to harm because they're spirits, but that's kind of an easy answer at the end of the day. You get into the hard answers in the Mogami arc. What did you think of that? What did you think of the fucking Mogami arc, dude?
What was that one again? Oh, okay.
The best one.
I was about to say my favorite arc.
No, yeah.
Okay, so this arc it snaps you, right?
Yep.
You're like, oh yeah, we're back in the world of Mob Psycho 100.
Just another job with
just another
Reagan,
day, just another day in Mob Psycho. And then this Mogami fucker shows up, and he just destroys Mob's mind.
Yep.
And he makes Mob question everything. And okay, so what the fuck? My disk drive just opened on my laptop. I didn't press anything. That's kind of scary.
You need to exercise your computer, yo.
I guess so. Got to get Mob in here. But no. So I mean, starts out and you could tell it's a lot darker with like the creepy little girl who's like dying, and then her dad's abusing her for a minute there. And
he's like, I don't hit her that hard. Just
like
the worst
really
possible answer.
It was just ironic.
It was ironic. It was for the memes.
But so you have that, and then you find out you get this whole backstory with this guy who, what was the deal? Like his mom had died, or
so he was like a star. He was like a star spiritual guy, in the psychic world, and was known for doing favors for people, and he did a bunch of jobs, and he was like the top fucking guy. But on the side, he was also doing like assassinations and shit, and like doing some underground shit on the side because
he was making beats on the side.
Yeah, he was. Yes, he was making beats on the side.
Insert skit number 4 here.
Bro, we ain't got it. So yeah, but no, he was doing making beats on the side, and his mother got she got really sick, and so he just immersed himself even more in this criminal underworld, and he was saying like the costs were just fucking exorbitant, so she fucking dies, and whether this is actually her spirit or not, I'm still questioning, or whether it's just his guilt is something, genuineness. I don't know exactly. It's definitely meant to be ambiguous, but her spirit is basically on his back from that point forward, and he learns to embrace negative emotions. And so, yeah, that's how Mogami sort of fucking gets introduced. Yeah. And even still, in this arc, despite how dark it is, it still has the fucking comedic moments. It's still got the haha funnies.
Yeah.
Consistently putting them out.
Well, okay. So, I mean, you get into it. You have this guy. He has his whole elaborate backstory, which you don't really get too much with any villains in this show.
No, Dimple, we don't really know what the fuck Dimple's life was like. I mean, we don't really know what the Scar's backstory was like, other than the fucking sword guy who's like, my parents abandoned me from birth, which is like supposed to be funny.
Yeah, the funny abandoning your child at birth.
No. No, but yeah, for sure.
You get this whole elaborate backstory with this guy, and I feel like he has like an unspoken god complex in a way, where he's like he gave me, not to tie it back into Fate all the time, but he gave me major Archer vibes, where he's like, I'm right. Everything that you think you know is wrong, regardless.
No, yeah, he's very adamant. He's very adamant about his ideology because of his life experiences. And yeah, they have to go through the most heinous shit to believe stuff like that. And that's there's so many things I can say about this fucking arc. I love the first part because it has good comedy, it has good tension, it's a little fucking creepy, and it even has some fucking great action and animation. Like I'll just say I love when fucking Dimple possesses Mob. That's like some of my favorite shit.
Yeah, and he's like going all over the room.
Yeah, he's going like fucking
all over
Bruce.
The place.
He's going fucking Bruce Lee and like the fight scene with Mogami. I love that shit. That was great. That's before we even get into the whole spiritual world that Mob has to enter, Mogami's world, if you will.
Yeah.
And so I already loved the first half, and then Mob leaves his own body, and enters the girl's body, and you get like the fucking initial Mogami's like, let's see how powerful you are, and he's like, oh, you're powerful, Mob. Okay, you're fucking powerful. But now he has the power of the fucking mind and soul at this point, which I thought was really interesting. Mob hasn't been confronted with someone like that. It's always just been raw power. I'm gonna hit you with everything I got, and so that was definitely unique for a Mob Psycho villain. I'll agree with you. And honestly, like that, like it's distinctly darker. And that whole episode where he's in the fucking world for 6 months is like my like probably one of my fucking favorite anime episodes like ever. I love that shit so much.
That's a crazy plot twist.
Yeah,
that it was like he's
it
been
was 6
in this
months.
place. Yeah, for literally. And I remember leaning over to you and I was like, "No,
is that true?
Like,
No,
yeah, it's been fucking 6 months."
Yeah, exactly.
But it's definitely it serves as a wake up call for both you, the viewer, and for Mob himself.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, Mob's never fought anyone like this before.
No, yeah. This is a completely unique villain.
And then here's this guy who's like, everything you think you know is wrong. You're living a lie.
You're living a fantasy.
You think that these are like powers, but it's a curse. Sort of deal.
There is no Tooth Fairy, and there is no Queen of England.
Right. And I mean, you know, it starts out really interesting, and that's one thing that I didn't really remember when I was thinking about the episode or the arc, because like now that I think about it, looking back on it, those first few episodes really got me hooked.
Right.
For sure. And it was like just the idea of like all these psychics coming in and being in this room was a really interesting idea.
Yeah.
Clear out. And then you have these crazy fight, like consecutive. I don't remember how many there are, but there are like 2 or 3 within a couple of episodes. I mean, you have the one with Dimple possessing Mob, which is awesome.
Oh, I fucking love that. But it's short, but it's so good.
Right, yeah. And then you have the one between Mob and Mogami. And then so that dream world part was so interesting to me, because you get in and it's like boom, immediate change. Like they literally change. Like now you're, getting to see it's extremely desaturated.
That's
the black bars at the top and the bottom of the screen.
The black bars made me fucking calm, dude. I love the black bars. Like make everything 100%
the IMAX camera.
Better for me. Yes.
The
oh
IMAX
my god.
Camera.
When they first set those black bars down the first time I watched it, I was like, "Oh, this is awesome! I love this. Oh,
this is cinema.
This is cinema, pure cinema."
And it's like complete like tone shift.
Yeah.
Right. And it was really well executed. And you get this extremely like in-depth like psychological conversation with Mob, like what's the Christmas movie where they go and show the guy all the
Christmas Carol?
Yeah, like a dark Christmas Carol. Like literally a dark Christmas Carol. Like, this is what your life could be.
But it's like the opposite. It's like it's the immoral Christmas Carol where it's like you should do fucked up things.
Yeah. You should murder your classmates.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like Mob's getting hated on in class, and then one part that really got me was it was either the girl who was like picking on him or like one of the guy classmates. Doesn't he like murder them?
Murder Mob? Oh no.
No, Mob murders one of them. From what I remember.
I think so.
He hits them and then they just go down, and it's like,
no, yeah, I think they died. They're dead. It's Mogami World. They probably died.
Mob just murdered someone. And it's like it's such a like the entire time I was watching it, I was like, this is not the same show.
This is not. Well, okay, so I think it does a genius job though of this is not the same show, but then bringing you right back into it when Dimple shows up out of the fucking guy's nose.
Yeah,
like it's an extremely intense scene. It's like there's Dimple. That was just one of the best examples of the tonal contrast that this show pulls off. It's fucking genius. I love it. So this episode, this episode, I'm just about to fucking say the world about it, because obviously from a pure cinematic level, it's fucking amazing. I love, like, the animation in this episode is fucking insane. And it's like,
absolutely.
you think it's gonna stop, and it's like, no, we're not done. No, let's bring in this fucking big ass vortex with teeth. Let's fucking have Mob fucking spin around the fucking world. Let's have Mob destroy the entire universe, which I thought that entire episode encompassed the negative emotions that Mob could have gone down. But by the end, he literally obliterates that fucking universe by himself because at the end of the day, it's, which Mogami says at the beginning, it's like, this is a 100% accurate like portrayal of the world, which is it just made me fucking laugh because
what
and
society
like that
could be.
Yeah, exactly. But and Mob does not buy into this bullshit because Dimple enters, and I didn't think about it last time, but like Dimple's kind of goal the whole time was to get into Mob's body to start his like fucking religion. He's in Mob's body. Mob is in the girl's body. This fucker could literally just leave and go start his fucking religion, but he doesn't.
Right.
He comes back into the girl's body, goes to encourage Mob, and that just shows Mob that people can change. And I just thought that was fucking beautiful. And the entire world he can just obliterate because it's literally based off of insecurities and fears that don't really exist, because look at the fucking friends you have, look at the fucking people you do have. And that is why that episode is a fucking 10 out of 10 for me. I love that shit. Fuck.
Oh, absolutely.
I love it.
It's awesome. But
yeah, everything about it, top to bottom.
Yeah, good arc.
Good arc.
Good arc. What comes after?
After that is the Reagan arc. The Reagan arc.
Yes, the depression.
It gets set. It gets
another depression arc.
It gets kind of set up in the Mogami arc because Dimple has changed at this point. Like he is complete. He's done a 180. He's done a character arc at this point. But what Reagan actually says about Mob, and he says something about Mob in the Mogami episode. He's like, yeah, he's strong enough to. He's super strong. He can handle himself. But then he also calls him stupid. He's stupid. And I was just, that rubbed me the wrong way this time. I was like, oh, were they setting that up this time? And so that kind of sets up Reagan's arc, in which Mob finds friends, finds friendship, finds a social life.
Yeah.
And decides to tell Reagan to fuck off because Reagan seems like a fucking asshole. He tells Mob, like, they're only something about him being fucking wimpy. They're only hanging out with him because they pity him because he's wimpy or some shit.
They're only hanging out with him because
they think it's funny.
Of his powers, or because not because of his powers, but like they're only being friends with him ironically.
Right? Yeah, for the memes. And whereas he's the real friend. And I remember seeing that scene again. I was like, that's fucking shitty. How do they even redeem him again? But then they have a quick scene where he's like, I'm just worried because he hasn't been on his own that way. And so behind Reagan's like extremely harsh words towards Mob was a genuine motivation. And this is one of the strongest arcs that has the genuineness theme in both Reagan's career and how he personally treats people. Because you have his so he's exposed as basically like a fraud in this arc, and he has to face the media. He has to face the media scrutiny, and basically, and like he keeps getting emails from his mom, which I thought all those scenes were just really well done. Like just fucking no music, just struck the right tone.
Yeah.
And the depression arc.
Now that I think about it, there literally was no music. It was like just him going about his day, no emotion. Yeah, and there's the whole bar, like the bar he goes to where he helps people with scams, and he genuinely does help them, but once he's exposed, it's like, fuck you. Yeah, you're a piece of shit. And like he is exposed to be a fraud. He doesn't have psychic powers, which actually they probably think that he does now because of Mob's little stunt at the end. But Reagan, I mean, he may do all of this shit, right? He may quote unquote con people out of their money, but at the end of the day, he gives people massages. Like he does technically help exercise things with fucking Mob's powers, of course. But also, like,
the strongest point of his genuineness is his genuine words and of advice towards Mob that he gave him when he was a child, and his genuine friendship that he feels he has with Mob. And that's why when Mob says, I believe that my boss is a fucking genuinely good guy, man, what another fucking great arc.
It hits.
I love that shit. So what were your, do you have any big thoughts on the Reagan arc?
Okay.
The Reagan depression arc?
This one was interesting because so far, most of the time it's been like a
fight from here on out.
Well, not necessarily like a lot of fighting, but like
right.
It's been based off of powers, and powers they play a big part in it. You know, whether it's
that's true. Every arc has been based off powers, right?
Yeah, whether it's Ritsu wanting the powers or Mogami being like, your powers are a curse and they're not real and you're using them the wrong way.
You're a faker.
Yeah, you're a mongrel.
A mongrel.
No, literally, that's how he acts.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is more like, hey, it's not power oriented, really.
Right? No, yeah, exactly.
And it's more of like this guy who, not necessarily because he doesn't have powers, he's living a sad life, but because like he thinks that powers are what makes Mob who he is, sort of. Now, obviously he doesn't, I don't think that he actually thinks that, but sort of in the moment it's made out to seem like he does. Almost a little bit. Not that they make him who he is, but like he makes it seem like there's not as much to Mob as there really is, sort of.
I disagree. I think Reagan sees a lot more in Mob, and that's why he values him, is because of that fact. You know, his genuineness and fucking everything. But yeah,
I mean, in the moment. In the moment where it's like, man, this guy's an asshole. That's sort of how they portrayed him.
Right. To Mob, it seems like this fucking asshole's just using me for my fucking powers. What a piece of shit.
And then it's later revealed that no, he's not. Like,
no,
he's one just of the looking people out for who him. Really believes in Mob.
Yeah, he's looking out for him.
And no, so I found that part really interesting, and how he's portrayed as this guy who doesn't really see Mob for very much, and he's sort of using him, but in reality it's like Mob is very important to him. And like, you know, he just wants to look out for him. He wants what's best. And
Mob can see that. Mob can see that because he is a genuine person, and that's what.
Right.
That's what's fucking. I'm also just so glad they expanded on Reagan in this season. They could have just left Reagan as like, he's the funny teacher guy. He's the mentor. Yeah, he's always wise and right about Mob. But they really go back and analyze them, They really go back and analyze them, which I really appreciate. And that's another reason why I love this season, is because of that whole arc, which honestly I'd forgotten mostly about. Like, I forgot about the part where like he got back into the game and he was like fucking going on video games and killing like the player killer and like all that shit. I forgot all that. It was just massively entertaining to me. But so yeah, that's the Reagan arc though. So then we get into the big boy arc of the season, the Claw arc.
Yes.
But before
the arc
that,
to end all arcs.
Yeah. I hope not. Fuck.
Oh, no, not really.
Before that, we get it's sort of an in-betweenie. It's sort of an in-betweenie, but it also starts as like the starter for the final arc, is the race arc, the marathon arc.
Yeah.
Which I really loved. It was a nice bit of slice of life. I really appreciate Reagan supporting him after the whole Reagan arc. And I loved watching I loved watching the slice of life shit. And even but they even bring it back at the end with the fucking shocking ending, which I mean, it wasn't shocking to me because I was literally just like, all right, next episode, oh, they're alive, cool. But week to week, I can imagine like, what the fuck just happened, yo? But yeah, I mean, what do you think of that episode? I love that fucking episode personally.
Do you mean the race episode?
The race arc.
I think it was a fun like break.
Fun little,
because
We've done a lot. It's been emotionally heavy.
Right. So far throughout the season, it's like, other than the first little bit, which even that, like the episodic stuff at the beginning was a lot more emotional, in my opinion, at least, than the episodic stuff in,
that's true.
Season 1 or whatever. And then you have these intense, the depression series.
The depression arcs,
the society arcs.
Society.
If you will. And but then you have this sort of episode, and it's like, go back to wholesome high school, middle school.
Yeah.
And it's a feel good arc. Makes you feel good.
And then we get right back into the depressing shit. The depressing shit.
And then you're back into.
And we're back.
And we're back. But I don't mind that, because I think Mob Psycho is for sure, upon first look, it's like good action. But then you look a little bit more into it, or you watch the show, and it's like, emotion is a very driving factor.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Good.
So then, we can I guess we can discuss the final arc now. So I think one of my criticisms with the second season initially on the first watch, just to make the distinction, was like the parents dying was kind of and then being alive was cheap, but I think it actually again served the themes of the season on this arc, and that whether or not the bodies were fakes, right? But whether or not they were fakes, Mob's emotions concerning them were very real, and he could have caused a lot of harm using his powers at that point. But he has Dimple there to calm him down, which I love, because that shows Dimple's character growth again. And yeah, that whole part was just great to me. And but yeah, so then we get into the claw, which is more complex of a plot than you usually get in Mob Psycho. Like, there's factions and shit. Like,
yeah, I love the factions.
The factions, yeah.
But so how does this start? So it starts out by pretty much the kid guy,
the dead. Yeah, he's like, "Hey, what's up?"
He's like, "Hey, let's send your parents on vacation."
Hey,
but not yet.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Jimmy. But
yeah.
So it starts out pretty. It starts off with a bang, like
we're
right in it.
This shit.
And
which I appreciate, because that's how last season did it.
Right. And then Mob finds out that his parents are quote unquote dead.
Yeah.
And he's like, "We're not having this." And then doesn't he just run into some guy who was actually going to kill Mob's parents or whatever on the street?
They're on the way.
And then just like one shots him.
Yep, it's over.
He's like done. He's like, I'm gonna get.
And this is a different. This is a different Mob. This is like a very. It feels like a lot more of a rational rage than anything, or not rational rather, but like he's more. It's not thoughtful.
You feel it.
Word I'm trying to. You feel it, and I feel like the rage was just purely like, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of these people, but like he's motivated, and he's like,
a reason. He has a legitimate reason.
Where the fuck are my parents? Okay, you're not gonna tell me. Fuck you. Bye. And that was fucking great. It was a nice foreshadowing for what was gonna happen later on in this arc with the final battle, and so yeah, then we get into the arc, and all the boys from the Scars are back, and I actually really like what they did with them in this half of the season, especially later. But I just liked seeing all the boys back together. We had a smaller squad of boys, but this is a large group of boys here, and I think they're used to sufficient effect, unlike other anime. But yeah, I love all that. I really like the how fast this arc is. It's like, oh, it's on the news. The fucking Claw boss is like, we're gonna take over the world. It's like, okay, we're not gonna let you take over the world.
It's suddenly very large scale.
No, like huge for sure. And so Mob is asleep, and so we don't really get the epic Mob finish for a little while, or like Mob fight for a little while. And so basically one of the episodes is dedicated to protecting Mob, which was both hilarious and just very good to me. I loved fucking Reagan like spraying all these psychic fuckers with the red spray, and I loved him like again, Dimple possesses him again. We get another sweet fucking scene with him using some martial arts against Big Boy, who's part of the upper echelon, which is like the big boys of the Claw organization. And honestly, only a few of them were that like great to me. Like the teleporting guy being the most
teleporting
standout
guy
to me.
was he was the best.
He was the most standout. But I also love the umbrella guy. But everyone else, like, what do you have? The fucking plant guy, the drone guy who gets fucked.
See,
by
I don't even
Show
remember
immediately.
them. That's
exactly.
How much.
But then you get the big red steroids guy, who, yeah, you get a sweet scene with him and Dimple, but then you get just the Body Improvement Club like catches Mob because Dimple falls out of his body accidentally, and he's like, "Hey man, what's Mob doing all the way out here?" And then you get a really good fucking fight scene between the big boy and like the captain of the Body Improvement Club, which was fucking awesome, and it brought back the, these muscles are more finely attuned and take a long time to develop than just your fucking basic psychic powers. And just combined with Dimple, that scene was fucking awesome. I love that shit. So I love that episode. That episode's great. Then you have, and then it's just a like nonstop action. Honestly, you get the Mob fighting the plant guy. You get, okay. Honestly, I'm just gonna talk about the fucking highlight. One of the highlights of the arc, which is the fucking teleporting guy. So fucking
teleporting
badass.
Guy is awesome.
Teleporting
guy is really cool.
From his introduction all the way to like his final battle, it's fucking awesome.
He's like the say a quirky line while the main people can't really do anything.
Yeah, it's like
guy, but like
I'm stronger than you.
It's like, yeah, maybe you should consider like stopping. You're gonna die.
Shit like that.
Yeah,
you're not very good at this, are you?
Like
that scene with. Oh my god, I can't tell you how many like I will literally just be like randomly think about the scene between him and Taro and just be like, yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch that real quick on YouTube. Like I play that shit back I've seen that shit so many times. And the thing about it is in the manga, so the manga doesn't look good like at all. It looks like shit.
I think I've seen like
pictures it looks bad. And it has like panels where it's like looks genuinely good and like the guys like really put his all into that panel, but otherwise it's just like this is like DeviantArt quality here, bud. Like low tier DeviantArt. And but like one of the scene between Teru and Shimazaki was literally just like Shimazaki punches him a bunch of times. Bones came up with that entire building bit, and I fucking love them for it. Oh my god, I've watched that scene so many fucking times. The music is perfect. The voice actors are perfect in the sub. I think the dub is fine though. Okay, the sub for me is like literally perfect. Like I feel like all the voices match the characters perfectly. And dub, they're decent though. I feel like the best voice in dub for me is Reagan. I think Reagan's fucking perfect.
Reagan's a perfect match. I think Reagan. I haven't listened to the sub at all. I'll have to take a listen to that. But the dub, I think they do a good job of like matching the voices.
Yeah, I agree. So everything in that scene just fucking is amazing. And then they don't even just leave it up to Teru. They bring in Ritsu, they bring in the fucking Scars, they bring in everybody for one last fight. And they're just pulling like so much cool shit. Like you got the fucking the gun POV shot, which was fucking crazy when I was like, they're doing this shit? Are you kidding me? And then there's the whole building fight that Teru and Shimazaki have with the where you just fucking nonstop barrage of attacks. But even like it's perfect because I go back and watch that scene, and Teru talks about how his attacks are very like monotonous and like it follows a very strict pattern. It doesn't seem like that when I actually would watch the scene. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. How is he predictable? But like he does follow a very strict pattern. Like there's a part where he's like punching Teru in the air a bunch of times, but I noticed like. It's just the way it's cut makes it look like supernatural. Like this is fucking phenomenal. This is amazing combat going on here. But he's really just punch him up, punch him down, punch him up, punch him down. And that was just such a good fucking detail. That scene, I can fucking go on literally forever about that scene, but I love that scene so much. But so that whole episode's amazing, and then the best thing is like you have this build up. It's like, oh shit, mob's coming. This is gonna be the fucking battle of the century, boys. And then Reagan just comes in and does this self-defense rush. I love that shit so much. And they're like, and Shibazaki's just like terrified, and the scars are like, the great master is here. He has arrived.
He's here.
I love that fucking scene so much. Oh god. You have anything to say about all that fucking shit? That whole fight? I just love that shit so much.
Good. I mean, you summed up everything I would have said right. For the most part. Yeah.
I just think about the show a lot.
Yeah. Which, understandable. It's your favorite.
Yeah, no, it's my.
If and when we ever do an Evangelion show,
oh god,
sure, I'm never gonna.
Evangelion, the rewatch,
the rewatch show, which
will happen. We're gonna do that.
Probably, yeah. I'm sure I'm never gonna shut the fuck up about it. And it's like, maybe this one frame at 256 in episode 13. Maybe you think Anno could be hiding something in this picture frame?
Yeah, Anno means something by this.
I think there might be a secret hidden logo on Misato's beer can.
The foreskin facility. I'll tell you how it all ties back to the foreskin facilities.
Oh, we haven't explained that. We gotta explain that in some episode.
So the foreskin facility. Oh no.
But no,
so
I mean,
pretty
much after that, I don't. Final. It's not the final. Maybe.
No, after that, it's Mob fighting the Umbrella guy, which is it's good. I think it's a very good emotional battle, more so.
Yeah, the guy who's
technical battle.
What's the main villain's name?
I think it's Toichiro. I think I'm just remembering it. Or Suzuki. Yeah. You just say Suzuki. That's easier.
Yeah, where he's like, Suzuki discovered me. He made me who I am.
Right, exactly. And he uses an umbrella as a comfort, which I thought was pretty interesting. Yeah. And he even uses it as a channel for his powers. And I really like that. It's just like and I got this from a video, but like there's a big theme of dependency in this season too. Like,
absolutely.
Like Reagan is emotionally dependent on Mob, even though it seems like it could be the other way around. And Serizawa is dependent on Suzuki, but unwittingly. And so, yeah, that whole fight was just great. I love the line where, like, it's the first, like, genuine Mob line where it's like, oh, shit, you just said that. Where he's like, Serizawa was like, I have real friends or something like that. And Mob's like, that's how I know you don't have any friends. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh, shit, Mob, you're getting a little confident there, bud.
Yeah,
that shit was good.
Mob, like... Not to say that he was emotionless in the first season, but he's definitely more.
He wasn't animated. He wasn't as socially attuned in the first season, and
right.
That's why I think it's a great display of his character arc is saying shit like that.
Now he
has a very strong character arc to me.
Kind of quippy every once in a while.
No, yeah, sometimes he'll get a little, and he definitely changes in the fucking final fight. So like. The Suzuki and his son get into a fight, and it's cool. It's whatever. But then you have Mob comes through, and it's like, all right, this is the final battle, boys. And I love this fight because it's Mob being pushed to his like absolute limit.
Right. It gets fucking crazy.
Like Mob is laughing like maniacally at one point because of how he's going all out, and it's. Suzuki's like, how does it feel to fucking go 100% just freely finally? And Mom's like, this is fucking great. And then he sees Ritsu and he's like, oh fuck, this isn't what I want. This is not what I want.
What have I done?
But no, yeah, and he like, that's the thing is Mob has been led to believe like, I mean, anybody can change. Like I can change people with my words, with my actions, but this is the final extreme. It's what do you do when a person will not relent? When a person has decided for themselves that they will not change? And Mob just finds that it's through kindness and genuineness. And that's oh my god.
So the power of friendship.
No, not even friendship, just the power just like the power
yeah.
He has powers, but he has the power, psychic powers, but he also has the power to choose, the power to change things. And that's what I thought was fucking beautiful about that final scene is like there's this whole big fight and Mob's like they're getting excuse me for this, but a little psycho with each other, if you will. A little Mob psycho, a little Mob psycho 100. And But by the end, he finds confidence in his own power to change things, his own power to act of his own accord, and of his genuine kindness. And he shows his genuine newfound confidence through his fucking. He has like a glowy eye form. He's like he's just like a completely different person at that point. It's just his self confidence shining through. And he's like, body improvement, fight on, which is like the symbol of how he's built up all this self confidence was through that club. And then just the final scene with, and this is the largest scale fight yet. Like they're throwing fucking chunks, like a big ball of buildings at each other, and just like it's like, fucking crazy.
All fucking floating and flying all over the place, throwing like massive chunks of the earth at each other.
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I love how everyone else is sort of like, "Yep, this is happening.
This is happening.
This is what's going on. We have no idea.
This is too high level. This is above my pay grade, honestly. And
it's an Avengers level threat.
Yeah, exactly. But like that's one of my favorite scenes in the show, and honestly, in probably all of anime, is Mob coming back to choosing to act of self-defense, choosing to act to change others, and instead of just I'm going to defeat him with my psychic powers, using a barrier to help like deflect Suzuki's self-destructive his self-destructive person, which honestly I didn't get into Suzuki that much, but he's like a person who's very reliant on himself, and he doesn't need anyone else, and he has clearly very repressed emotions of rage and just everything across the board. And because he doesn't like other people, he doesn't know other, or he just chooses not to interact or connect with other people because I should just rely on myself, which is honestly, I've seen that before in anime, but the way they did it this time in contrast with Mob was fucking beautiful. And I think that just that final scene is so beautiful, and Mob's genuine face, like his eyes are glowing. Usually his eyes are just like fucking black, meh face.
He goes red-eyed.
But yeah, he has like a glow. There's like this shot where he has a glow in his eyes, and he just has like the most genuine look of kindness on his face. And like somebody said in like the comments of that scene, like, man, imagine if Mob died here. But it's like, no, I don't think this should be a case where Mob dies here. I think it's a case where I don't think this is a show generally where like people die. I don't even remember. I don't think I can name a single death in the show other than like fucking, I don't know, the spirits. But this show isn't about that. It's about humans who are capable of change. And I mean, change is kind of fucking pointless it's not pointless, but like it's different if you just die after that. But like genuine self-improvement. And that's why that entire last scene is just fucking great. And I forgot about this actually. The season starts in a farm, puts the broccoli seeds in his pocket. He's like, we'll just tuck that in there for safekeeping later on.
Yeah.
And then the fucking broccoli grows. And I just fucking hell. I love the ending so goddamn much. Holy shit. I mean, what do you think of that whole fight between Mob and Suzuki?
I mean, obviously it was like for sure the most tense and the most like it's
high stakes.
It's the most, I don't know if it's the most emotion we've seen at a Mob. There might be other times where maybe there's a little bit more, but still, you know, it's more emotion than you really ever get.
I think it's the farthest we've ever seen Mob be like, I can't change you. Fuck this. Fuck you. Like, for sure.
You see Mob like go a little bit power hungry, whatever the term is.
Yeah.
And I think that side of him is really interesting. And then it's like, he sees Ritsu and he's like, what have I done?
What have I done? Oh yeah, there's that like that. I love that shot of him on the fucking the like the little platform spinning around in the sky, and then Suzuki's like, fuck you, bitch. I'm gonna fucking kill you.
And it's like, it's one of those things where it's all about Mob finding his inner self.
Yeah.
Which, you know, sounds cliche, but that's literally what it's like. But
how it's
do it in a cliche way.
Yeah, how it's executed is fucking awesome.
Yeah, they do it in a really interesting way, and it's like, Mob's finally able to sort of express himself.
Yeah, exactly.
And like he's like, this is what I stand for.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was good. I mean, obviously, like insane, crazy animation.
That's one thing you can't take away from the show, honestly, is the animation.
Yeah, regardless of what you have to say. Like, even I went into it and I was like, I've seen some pretty good animation. I just watched Fate.
Yeah, you can't beat this.
But then I remember seeing the first really big fight, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
And it, like, you know, it got a little bit crazy, a little bit wacky.
I think the one time that Fate really reached the heights of Mob Psycho in terms of animation was the Saber Alter
fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I kind of want to rewatch those movies now just to fucking see that shit again.
I did a while ago.
I digress.
It was an experience.
Still crazy, yeah.
But no, I mean, awesome.
A holy grail war.
Yeah, right. You know, awesome, amazing animation, really good character progression. Like, honestly,
sure.
I was gonna say
that's one of its biggest strengths. And I know you look for that. So,
which again, going into it, I was like, Mob seems like a kind of one-sided character.
He's just gonna be a one-dimensional kind of guy.
Yeah, he's gonna be like a haha, I'm funny, I have no emotion, I have powers, but I don't like to use them.
There you go.
But then it turned out to be like, you know, Mob goes psycho when he hits 100.
Yeah. He goes sad when he hits 100.
Similar to the title of the show, Mob Psycho 100.
Mob Psycho 100.
That's my Mob Psycho 100.
The funny. Wait. I want to talk about my feelings on the show.
Shit.
This show.
Okay.
This show. It will be very hard for something to dethrone this as my number one. Attack on Titan. If the ending is phenomenal, I mean, it could at least. I don't know. It's gonna. Let's just say it's gonna be really tough because this show, it's perfect to me. It has, or it's as close as you can get to perfect for me. You have, base level, phenomenal OST. I find myself listening to the OST a lot, whether it be the more like sad, beautiful songs, or whether it be like the fucking action shit is really cool. Like the OST is perfect. Like, there's some scenes where the OST fits so well that like it just elevates the scene for me. The animation is fucking phenomenal. I find myself going back and watching some of the best animation in the show like all the time. But even past that, I mean, the openings are fucking phenomenal. I love the fucking openings. They're some of the most like visually packed but like interesting openings I've ever seen. And yeah, it like even just the insert songs I really enjoy. I think that some of the insert song endings they have are really good. The just the vocal songs are very good. But past that, I mean, you have the deeper shit. Like you have the characters.
Orchestral.
No, yeah. But you have the characters who are fucking phenomenal, and they all serve a purpose, and they all have their sort of little analysis going on. I mean, you could argue Teru has a sort of rapid character arc, but I mean, that's kind of
he has a character arc.
He has a character arc, and he was the first one to be changed by Mob, so he's like on the other extreme where he's young, he can be swayed either way, and but past that, the characters are fucking amazingly realized. The stories, while not being like the most like not Attack on Titan level like storytelling, still like inform the themes and character arcs of the show and like weave through them are weaved through them so well that like I don't really give a fuck that it's not a 9 million IQ plot. But really, like, what makes the show for me is like you've said, the emotional core. This show made me cry a few times on rewatch. I will fucking admit that. This show is.
Yeah, what a pussy.
Shut your fucking mouth, bitch. I will fucking I will cry. I will cry here on this goddamn server. I will cry on this server, boy. You give me lip again, you'll find me with fucking tears rolling down my face. You got me? But no, like the emotions are like the strongest that have ever been evoked for me in terms of an anime, and it speaks beautifully to the human condition and the capability that everybody has to change and act. Your life is your fucking own, baby. Let's fucking go. Mob Psycho 100. On the sticks, if you will.
Cracked on the goat sticks. Cracked on the goat sticks.
New vernacular.
Goated on the crack
around
sticks.
These streets. But yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, good. Good show. I like it. I know I don't have a lot to say, but honest to God, you're summing it all up for me.
Honestly, I didn't have. If we had discussed this like on a earlier episode, like or if we discussed this the first time I watched it, I would have way less shit to say about it. But it's my favorite. Right. I love it. I go back and watch scenes from it all the time, and so I tend to notice shit. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, fucking amazing. 10 out of 10 for me. Well, okay, here's my question: what would you give the show overall? Because you gave the first season an 8 and the second season a 9.
Oh, it's so hard.
Oh.
Just because of some of the stuff that happens in this second season, I would say...
Right. Elevates it.
It's a solid 8.75 out of 10, which rounds up to a 9 out of 10.
To a 9, yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Because there's some 10 out of 10 material in the second season.
Right.
For sure.
It's just, it's hidden behind some other things that you thought could have been... done with that. The show could have done without.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think there's anything inherently bad about the show.
Right. Right.
I think
just not your exact cup of tea all the time.
Which obviously that's subject to change.
Yeah, and I feel like there's been a lot more shows. You go ahead.
Oh well, I was just gonna say. Well, I guess we'll have to see upon a future rewatch.
No, yeah, years in the future.
Yes. No. But
I feel like there's been a lot more shows. Like I've gone back and listened to some of the episodes. I feel like there's been a lot more shows where I've been more down on it than you have, or like it's not my taste as much as it has been yours. So I'm glad I finally got to fucking gush about something.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, Mob Psycho 100 boys, and that takes us to our next topic.
Oh my god, next topic, and now we're 30 through.
Topic, baby.
Oh my god. Hey, it don't matter.
What do you want to talk? Let's just keep with anime, I guess. Let's keep with anime. Okay. So we watched some more anime after that because Mob Psycho is not a very long show. We binged Attack on Titan, so it wasn't that hard for us.
Right.
So we got a little new segment. Caden, why don't you introduce some of this little thingy-majigger?
New segment?
The Inbetweenies!
Oh, right. My mistake. So, pretty much, we have a new little thing. I guess you're doing it too now.
Okay. I think there's a couple... Go ahead and explain what it is, but I'll say what my stipulations with this are. So,
pretty much, my thought was... And yeah. So my thought about this was, that, I'll finish a show, and holy okay, never mind. Sorry. I'll finish a show, and I want to have something to watch because I like being able to watch something. Just in general. And so I came up with this new little idea dubbed the Inbetweenies. Now normally, with our current new little system, we'll go, one show,
the big show, the headliner show,
right? That either Julius or I pick. But just so I can watch something. When I'm done with that, I'll take like a shorter show, from my plan to watch, maybe 12-ish episodes or whatever. Just, so I can have something to watch, and also so I can clear out my plan to watch.
Clear it out, baby. Spring cleaning.
Extraordinarily long.
Yeah.
And so, my first in-betweening, everyone's favorite, was Domestic Girlfriend.
Yeah! Shit! I actually completely forgot about that.
That's what I was just thinking about. Which...
real fast? I want to say something real fast. The main show, the headliner, is like, we are obligated to watch that. Like,
right.
We have to watch it because it's the main show. Like, how are we not both going to watch the fucking main show? But the Inbetweenies, I feel like are a little more flexible.
We don't both have to watch the same one.
No, yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to do that many Inbetweenies. I'll just watch whatever I'm interested in watching along with you. But
Right.
like I watched an In-Betweenie this time. I didn't. Tatum had fucking actually. Now that I think about it, he had like fucking 4 In-Betweenies this time. So I will not be there for the In-Betweenie segment every time, but I will be this time. But for a majority of the In-Betweenies this time, actually, Caden has the floor. So what do you think? What do you think of Domestic Girlfriend? I know it's a banger opening. I know that much.
God, I completely forgot that I didn't talk about this on the last episode. I guess we recorded the last
Yeah.
episode before I started this.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Listen, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say what everyone's thinking that's seen this show. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't think it was that bad. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Hey.
And not just because it's the funny haha they have sex in the show.
Yeah.
Right. You know, it's good. It's cringe, but it's good. The side characters
it's cringe, but it's good.
It's like it's a very guilty pleasure sort of thing. Like,
oh yeah.
You know, and there's a limit to how good a show like this could be, but like, it was decent, and they have fun with it.
Yeah, sure. It's called they do a little bit of trolling.
They most definitely did quite a bit of trolling in this program. You know, main character has sex with the girl, and then that girl turns into his stepsister, and then his other stepsister is the teacher that he has a crush on. And it's it's right. It's that. It's that. And
it's a joke for all you gamers out there. Hope y'all understood the reference. Only the brothers understand this reference.
Only the brothers.
And the sisters.
Only the starving brothers.
And the sisters, sure. Only the starving brothers.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
It was fine. It was fine. Don't hate on Domestic Girlfriend.
What'd you give it, like a 7?
I gave it a 7 out of 10, which in some people's books would be somewhat high, but a 7 out of 10 is like my average.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that might still be kind of high from...
Your 7's my
right.
6.
That might still be kind of high from some people, but you know what? Fuck you. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I was considering watching that again, just like giving it a quick little rewatch for our In-Betweenie this week.
Oh shit! A rewatch. This man's on the grind, folks. This man is on the grind.
No, I'm rewatching X right now.
Oh, nice. How's that going for you?
It's not any better than I remember it.
No, fuck.
But I mean, hey,
sucks.
Again, it's not bad. I gave that a 7 out of 10 too.
Decent.
But so for our In-Betweenie this week, this month, God, fuck, shit. So we watched a certain film, which we'll be talking about soon, but we also wanted to just like have a little show to watch while I was.
I forgot about the movie too. Holy shit! Oh my god, we watched a lot, or you did actually. You watched a shit ton.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude, the list just goes on
and on.
But we watched Fully Cooley.
Yeah.
Which is something that has been on my plan to watch list for a long time. And
I've been watching it, but I just never got to finishing it. I stopped at episode 4 because I don't know. I usually watch it with my cousin, but we didn't finish it. I don't know. We just randomly stretch out shows. Like we stretched out Mob Psycho originally when we watched it, but no, yeah, Fully Cooley, Gynax feature. We're big fans of Gynax around here.
What they made after Evangelion, I believe.
Yeah.
Unless Nadia or something was in there. I don't know when they made that.
I don't know.
But
who fucking knows?
I fucking love this show. And it was like when I watched it at first, I was so confused and I didn't understand
what is going on.
But then I found out that's how everyone feels and that's how you're sort of supposed to feel. And I watched a video about Fully Cooley and it was titled "It's Okay to Be Dumb" or "It's Okay to Be Stupid" or something along those lines.
Yeah, I think I've seen that one. Yeah,
and
I like that video.
I mean, that's literally what the show is. Like,
it
has literally no plot going into it. Not literally. Extremely minimal
plot by the end, but like, you could barely even call it. Like, it doesn't even get like fucking fleshed out until like episode 4, 5. I want to say.
Yeah. But I watched the show, and at first I was a little bit iffy on it and then I actually rewatched it because it's literally 6 episodes, so I like watched it in a night, and it's on YouTube.
Nice.
And so I rewatched it. That came up to a 10 and is on the favorites.
It is on the lauded favorites, boys. Let's fucking go.
Which is funny considering I really don't have a lot to say about it because it's more.
But it's unspoken. It's unspoken. Yeah.
It's more of an experience.
For sure.
Than a talk about it thing.
Yeah, I have a few things to say. I have a few things to say about it. First of all, we watched the dub.
Yes.
The dub can be cringe at times, but other times I think it's pretty good. I think Haruko's voice actor is a good fit. It's really just a few lines that are like that's kind of dated, but
what I didn't realize was that apparently this dub is hailed as like one of the greatest dubs of all time. Like it's on the same tiers like Cowboy Bebop.
Huh.
I
don't entirely agree, but it's decent, I think. But I think the sub did a better job. But you know.
Yeah.
I'm not a sub supremacist or anything, so you know, fucking bigots.
What kind of weeb?
But I mean, in terms of like highlights from this, I mean, this show is it's unique as hell. I can't knock it for that. Like,
absolutely.
I can't knock it for that, but I also really want to because like this show, while it's like really awesome and vibey and shit, and like there's just certain vibes that you would that you thought could never be produced that are produced in this show, but at the same time, it literally frustrates the shit out of me to the point where like I don't feel like I can rate it any higher than like an 8.
Yeah,
because it frustrates me so much, and I know you're not supposed to watch it like that, but it makes me so mad for some reason. It's the only show to like be like, oh, this is fucking cool, but also being like, oh, this is fucking frustrating. Like I don't like this a lot.
Right.
I feel like some highlights of the show for me were I thought the whole Mamimi character was honestly like one of the most in-depth characters.
Yeah.
I thought Naoto was a pretty damn good main character and like an embodiment of the sort of children being more mature than adults at times, but still having that childlike quality. Which is basically this whole show is like the adults in this town are fucking immature and fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And I one of the best parts for me, like probably my favorite and most memorable part was the fucking like satellite or meteor or whatever that was coming towards Earth.
Yeah.
And that song plays and he's hitting the fucking thing with the bat. And the whole theme of, when the chips are down, what are you going to do? Meanwhile, the adults are not doing shit. Like, the chips are down.
Let's watch this kid do it.
Let's watch this kid. Exactly. Let's put all this pressure on this kid. So now that I'm thinking about it, it's got some pretty good thematic depth, but like, the story is just like, oh, what the fuck is this? This is nothing. This is nothing.
It's literally nothing.
It's very much something if you put it in different hands, like it could have been much more competent. But like I also don't know if the same vibes would have been able to be replicated. And which one do I want more? More competent or not competent rather, but coherent. Do I want more coherent Fooly Cooley, or do I want good old Fooly Cooley? Which honestly, I will say I probably wouldn't trade it for that because it is unique in its own way. And yeah, that's probably all I really have to say on this show. The soundtrack's a fucking banger, though.
Yeah,
for sure.
I was
it's got some bangers on here. By the pillows.
Yeah, this is one of, if not the best soundtrack I've ever heard.
I kind of like how music playing all throughout.
It's constant music.
Yeah,
it's like playing Persona. It's literally just constant music all the way through, which I love. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's constant music. I love the random little wacky moments.
Yeah, we're in the manga now. Whoa.
Yeah, I think it has some like surprisingly good animation sometimes.
And it has like references that you'd never imagine. Like, oh, here's a South Park segment really quick.
Yeah, there's a South Park segment. They like literally directly reference.
Yeah.
One thing that you and I didn't notice, Naota's dad wrote an Evangelion fan book, and it said he's like he was like submitting some copy, and then Haruko was like, I didn't know your dad was an artist or something. And Mamimi his dad is like, yeah, I wrote an Eva fan book. And it was like there are Evangelion figures in the background, and like Just so many little nods.
Shout outs. Ano is the cat.
Right. Ano voices the cat and the sub.
The sub, yeah.
And it's such a it's fun. It's fun.
And it's fun.
It's self-aware, but it doesn't take itself too seriously.
It's fun, but it's also very frustrating for me. You know, it's a headache. Yeah. It's a headache. It's having fun while you're having a headache. Is what I'd call it, basically.
At some points, it's like watching a show made by a child.
Yeah.
And I guess that's literally the point of it.
Right. Yeah.
But we had fun, and then also I watched. While we're on the Fully Cooley topic, Fully Cooley Progressive and Alternative.
So what do you think of this? These sequels, like these shows, are like generally panned by like fans. So, but you're not really like you don't have a lot of nostalgia for it. Like you don't. You're not too like.
I didn't watch it.
You're not too attached.
When it aired.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So what did you think? As a sort of outsider, not necessarily, but like a newcomer.
Yeah. Right.
Fresh
Going
eyes.
into it, I was like, so going into it, I thought there were two: Fully Cooley Progressive and Alternative. Progressive is first, and then Alternative is second or last. So going into it, I thought that I would like Progressive more because Alternative is sort of marketed as like this K-On! Sort of deal, where it's the girls and they're off in their little adventures, which
fun,
obviously I don't mind. But
no, yeah,
that's sort of
Aiden doesn't mind a little of the girls hanging out.
Yeah,
that's right, Aiden?
Less appealing to me than a gamer girl who has no emotion for some reason.
Oh yeah, gamer girl.
So talking about Progressive first, Progressive is so weird, like in a different way than
is it?
The
I was about to say, is it? Okay, I have a real question. Do any of them manage to feel like the original Fully Cooley, or are they kind of different?
Oh, they do. They for sure do.
Okay.
But like, so Fully Cooley Progressive, it like has these little side character plots that you don't give a shit about. And it's because Haruko is pretty much the main villain of it. And the reason why is because something like Atomisk, the space pirate guy,
the Pirate King,
split her soul into two, and so like the maternal sort of like helpful, happy side of Haruko was split into this completely other person who is, pretty much those emotions embodied. And what's left out of Haruko is just the annoying, I'm gonna get what I want and be a bitch version.
Shit.
And
because she's very self-interested in the original series for sure.
Yeah, and it's even more so in this. She's literally the villain, and she just causes chaos everywhere she goes. But in the end, she learns and she's happy.
Haruko character arc.
I like the main character the most, Hidomi, because she's cool and gets character development, and by the end she has emotion. And she takes off the cat ear headphones. And then there's Alternative, which I expected to like a lot less, but I actually liked a lot more.
Solid.
And it was like Haruko was helping all these people. There's this guy who I don't know if he's supposed to be Naota. He's working. I don't know if you remember the eyebrow guy from the original.
Yeah,
he's pretty much working his job. And that
would make sense.
It's not like he has a different name from Naota and everything, but it's like him and Haruko have a past, and like he sort of knows more about this world, and so I don't know, but it's pretty much like what's going on is all these girls having fun, they're going on their little adventures, and then towards the end, it's just boom, dropped on you, the world is going to end.
Nice.
And then it's like everyone in this small town, it's not the same town that Naota grew up in.
Different town.
That's only in Progressive, but Everyone in the small town's trying to live their life to the best of their ability. All the rich people are going off to Mars so they can keep on living.
Let's go,
and
Elon.
At the last second, the main girl, whose name I completely forget now, goes crazy. And she starts screaming, and she's like, I love my friends, and yep, that thing.
I want to live.
She goes, yeah, pretty much, and she goes crazy. And it's another one of those things where the adults aren't really doing anything; they're sort of sitting watching. But it's like they're sort of cheering her on. They're like, "You can do it, do that." And it's fun.
At least they got fun. That fucking privileged ass kids.
Some similar soundtracks. It's definitely Fooly Cooly with a more modern feel to it.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask what the soundtrack was like. Yeah.
So mostly it's made by a different band, but the Pillows do make a return for a number of soundtracks or a number of tracks.
So gotta have them. Gotta have them.
We had fun.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's.
I might check them out in the future. I mean, they're only 6 episodes.
Yeah, they're literally
each,
only
right?
6 episodes.
So, you know, wouldn't hurt.
It's good. Yeah, you could do it in one night.
Okay.
But now we're on to. So. This show has been what?
We're talking about. Wait, I want to talk about Paprika real quick.
Okay, yeah.
Another Satoshi Kon movie. I love Satoshi Kon. Perfect Blue is awesome. Paranoia Agent is awesome. I like this one. It's a 7. I had some really cool visuals overall and some really neat ideas. Again, I don't really get it, but.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun. I really like it.
I didn't get it, or I still don't really. I get it a lot more on the second watch. Yeah, I mean, I think it was good. Yeah. I think I talked about it when I watched it for the first time on the podcast. But
no, yeah, it's good. It's not my favorite Kon, but you know.
Fun fact: Inception's based off of this movie.
Hey.
So, speaking of which, I actually watched Inception today. Good movie.
I need to watch it. I need to watch that shit. I still have not seen it. Okay.
But speaking of live action.
Oh, we're entering the live action world, boy.
This movie has been...
Okay. Been built up over the podcast.
It's been long anticipated. For months. Maybe... no, not years, but...
Well, yeah, years. Honestly.
Has it? Yeah. Well, yeah, sort of.
Wait, for us or for the fans?
For the fans.
Bro, 2017.
I mean, yeah, years.
Yeah, that's years.
The Snyder Cut.
The Snyder Cut
has been released, and oh boy, was it quite the watch.
Okay, so first I want to say I actually watched the Whedon cut. It's not very good. I gave it like a 5. I enjoyed it, right? Like, it wasn't terrible, but like, just what a clusterfuck of a movie, honestly. Yeah. Just like, there's so many tonal issues. Everybody feels underdeveloped as fuck, and that's partly because I learned they were trying to keep this shit under a 2-hour or under runtime, and it's like,
oh, your favorite 90 minutes.
Okay, and yes, I do. I love a movie that can condense its greatness into that sweet. It's sweet 90 minutes.
Crisp 90 minutes.
A crisp 90 minutes.
The perfect runtime.
But like, for the
optimal film.
Yeah, exactly. But for the fact that they introduced 2 new characters in that movie, like, how are you going to do that? Like, and it's a cinematic universe. How the fuck are you going to do that? And the answer is they don't. Whedon did a shit job, guys. It's not very good. It has some decent action, and it has some, some fun moments, I think. It's already a competent action film. So, I just want to say, first and foremost, in terms of the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder, I want to apologize, because I'm going to be honest, in the past, in previous episodes, I have shit on you relentlessly. I've shit on your
apology.
I've shit on your movies. I've shit on everything. The way you handle your movies. I gotta say, this is probably like the best DC EU movie to date, the Snyder Cut. Like, I'm just gonna say bravo, honestly.
Yeah.
I went into it like getting ready to shit on it and like just have fun with it, but honestly, like it was really decent. Like,
Right.
So what did you think about it overall, honestly?
So, okay. In terms of the Whedon cut, when we watched it together, that was my second time watching it. I'm pretty sure I saw it once on TV one time, or maybe I went in theaters to see it. I don't even remember. I forgot everything that happens in that movie. It's extremely forgettable.
Understandable.
It's incredibly forgettable. I think it's sort of one of those. It was incredibly forced, and you can tell. And it's like I don't think it's bad per se, but there's nothing particularly good about it.
It's enjoyable, but it's like it's shallow as hell. Like
right, it is extraordinarily shallow. And this movie was just a plus on every front.
Yeah, for sure.
Characters, especially. You know me, I'm a big character guy. Big society man. And these characters are so much more animated.
Yep.
I feel, which is ironic considering the fact that all the humor was taken out of this movie. Not all.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah, there are a few jokes left in, but yeah,
all
a lot
the
of
little quippy stuff.
Out. Yeah.
And you know, I think the whole backbone of this film is the fact that it's Snyder's vision. It's what he'd always wanted to make.
Right.
And now he's finally getting the opportunity. Like, you know, so many people have wanted this like around the world for years now.
Yeah.
And everyone laughed at him and made fun of him and called him a joke. And like everyone called the idea of this movie ever coming out a joke. And him making this movie was just sort of like a fuck you to all those people, and he did it well.
It was a fuck you to me because I was honestly kind of part of that crowd, and while I do still stand by some of his comments about like his movies being like pretentious in a way, I have to like I feel really bad for shitting on him now, because if there's one thing about this movie, that's I made a criticism of Batman v Superman back on a previous podcast where I said it was, the tone was dark but shallow. That like there was barely any depth. I feel like with the allotted runtime he's been given and he's been given the stories he wants to tell, he has gone way more in depth, and I have to fucking give him props for that. The characters are way more interesting. Cyborg is a far more emotionally compelling character, as is Flash. He gets way better moments. The action, I can just tell the action is just so much more exciting in this because he cares about the action in this one. You get cool fucking, the Amazonian scene versus Steppenwolf was executed way better in this one. I love the blood and gore and this shit. That's a personal preference, but he goes all out in the fucking blood and gore, and I love it. And it's just very in the spirit of the comics, which are, you know, very bloody and very gory. But there's also like just cool as shit moments that, like, why was that omitted from the original cut? Like, in terms of action, which is like Mara, Amber Heard's character, is it Mara? Is that Mara?
Something.
Mara fucking like I forgot exactly what she fucking did.
She suffocates him. She puts water like.
No, I feel like she takes the water out of him, right?
Oh, I thought she was like forcing water into him.
I thought I remember it going whatever, but like just that whole bit was so cool. That's just something that is not usually thought about in terms of powers. That's another thing I think he did very well in this movie, is thinking about how these powers are made. You know, Flash in the original movie, we kind of quipped. There's like a Russian family, very unnecessary Russian family subplot in the original Whedon cut, and it's fucking terrible.
Is that even in this movie?
It's not cut out, which I appreciate the fuck out of, because it doesn't matter. And there's a scene where Flash is just like moving at the speed of light, pushing their fucking truck out of the way of danger. And it's just like, yeah, that truck fucking, they're all dead. They're fucking all dead. And they actually address that in this movie, which I did not expect. It's a way different way to handle powers. The Flash has to be delicate whenever he touches things down because he can fucking like send them spiraling.
The whole scene with Iris, what I presume is to be Iris West, is I was reading something and it was like you can tell when you can tell like when you're watching the scene, he has to be very delicate with like very how careful. He touches, and he's extremely like slow movement when he's laying her down after her car had just fucking exploded.
Because
By the way, rest in peace to the dog that was in that car.
Oh fuck, man!
That thing is
rest
fucking dead. But
no,
I think it's so much more detail and thought is put into everything.
That's one thing I love about this is you're right. It's Snyder's vision, and while it's long and like exhausting to get through, and I'm not gonna probably not gonna rewatch it. Like there's just a consistency here. There is a commitment to a overall vision that I really fucking appreciate in a universe where the vision is fucking muddled as shit and we don't know what the hell we're doing. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, but here you just have one straight Snyder vision. I really appreciate it. I was going to say there's another really cool part that I appreciated that Zack Snyder put in was just like one of the most visually awesome parts in like any superhero movie is like whenever they're coming out of the building where Steppenwolf's kidnapped them and the building like starts to crumble and Flash is just like fucking zooming around like getting rid of all the blocks or not the blocks, the fucking debris that's falling. Like I thought that shit was awesome. All the action had way more impact. The climax was fucking amazing. There's a cool ass shot where Cyborg comes through and like lasers the shit out of a bunch of buildings. That's awesome, and he's flying through. They're all working together to fight Steppenwolf. Whereas last time it's like, oh, just let Superman do all the work. He can do it. Aquaman doesn't do shit in the original cut, but he actually is really good in this fucking cut. Like, oh, there's just so much more impact to the combat. There's like,
it's all just so much more thought out.
Yeah, and more like, thought out.
You can tell this was
just like rushed as fuck.
Right. And you can tell Snyder was like, he loved making this and he put a lot of thought into it, and this is the movie he wanted to make.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, I'm sure it's not an exact copy of the original, which is fine.
No, yeah.
But like you can tell he had been thinking about a lot of this for a long time.
Yeah.
And it just made it so worthwhile. And like I would encourage anyone, like, do not let the runtime turn you off.
For sure.
The runtime is needed for this movie.
But also watch the original movie to appreciate how much better it is, honestly. Like there's
watch
just like
the original movie so that you can shit on Joss Whedon on Twitter.
Exactly. I was gonna say something else. I think in this movie there's also a really great emotional core, and I think that I don't know if that comes with the sort of fucking terrible experiences that Zack Snyder's had to go through with his daughter and everything, but like there is a big running theme throughout this movie of like fathers not being there for their children, and I think that just adds so much more emotional weight to the message that I never got in like Batman v Superman, which was just like, oh god, I'm fucking angsty, I don't know what to do with all these super cool powers. Like this has legitimate emotional weight behind it, and I really appreciate the fuck out of that from Zack Snyder, because again, I call this shit shallow, dark but shallow, but I think this time it's really done in depth and it's done really well. It surpassed my fucking expectations for sure. Really good movie. I gave it a 7, but I honestly kind of think I'm talking to myself into giving it an 8 right now. I don't know.
Yeah,
I did not think I was going to be talking this passionately about the Snyder Cut, but fuck, they did it. And I also like how they. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say it's probably like a solid 8 out of 10 for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but there's also like surprise factors in this movie. That was what I was gonna say. It's like there's surprising factors that get me excited for a cinematic universe. It's like there's a whole scene with Aunt May and not Aunt May. Fuck me.
Aunt May.
Fucking what's what's Superman's mom's fucking
mom.
Superman's mom and Lois Lane. They have this whole conversation, and I'm just sitting here like, What the fuck are they talking? Who gives a shit? I mean, she walks out of the room and becomes fucking Martian Manhunter, and that was just so hype. I was not expecting that at all. It was great. We got some fucking dark side in this movie, which was awesome. We got the Omega beams, and like Steppenwolf didn't feel like a bitch. He was like actually kind of threatening in this movie. Yeah. So those are some of the other things I have with this movie, but like overall, yeah, I'm really glad that this exists, honestly. And only criticism actually I have is like, cut the epilogue out. I don't really need it. Like, what?
There's a lot at the end to take in.
That's not really needed. And like I think like the Martian Manhunter and Batman scene was really weird tonally, and it just didn't sit right with me. The Joker, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really interested in the whole fucking we're in the apocalypse, Superman apocalypse timeline. That just seems really boring to me. But I mean, what do you think of Jared Leto's Joker in this little scene that he had?
Well, this is for sure the best performance he's given.
No, yeah, for
as
sure.
Joker.
He was given shit scripts previously, but yeah.
Well, yeah, not necessarily the best performance, but the best
material given.
Joker we've seen out of this universe so far. I think it's I personally am really interested in it's called the Nightmare timeline. And it's spelled the same way that the Code Geass Nightmare is, which I'm assuming is hinting towards a Code Geass and DCU.
Oh shit! Can you imagine Zero and Batman collaborating? Let's fucking go.
But yeah, I mean, it's. I think it's a really interesting concept about like these people completely unrelated. Like, who is it? It was Flash, Cyborg, Batman,
Mara,
Deathstroke, Mara.
Yeah, Deathstroke.
Joker. Like Deathstroke just sort of he's there, right? And for sure he's gonna show up eventually. But like I find that ending part very interesting. Just such an odd combination of characters, and then like very dark Superman.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna fucking kill you,
Superman. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I think it was solid. I don't. Yeah. Again, the ending was it went on for a
little bit,
a while. But I think it was that's sort of a unintended side effect of sort of Snyder being like, I finally get to make the movie I want to.
I get to show you these cool scenes that I had ideas for.
I want a really long and emotional.
Yeah. We get some fucking some good Jared Leto Joker laughs, you know. That's one of the.
We get to hear Ben Affleck say "fuck."
Well, yeah, I will fucking kill you, or whatever the fuck he says.
Make no mistake, I will fucking kill you.
And does he say like slowly? Yeah, I'll fucking kill you slowly. No, we get some good Jared Leto Joker laughs. You know, we have the classic.
Yes. The best. But this time
he's like kind of out of breath. This was like. I need somebody to fucking edit Jared Leto Joker's laugh with the fucking flipogram roast guy's laugh.
Yes, that'd be so good.
Bruh, look at this dude.
But no, I mean overall, it's definitely a passion project, but it works.
It works for sure. I really like it.
It's good.
Props to Zack Snyder.
Happy Zack Snyder times.
Props. Fucking props.
Well, I have to do it every episode.
Updates. The Evangelion section, boys.
The Evangelion section, which I'm
Caden's
sad to
Evangelion
say.
Corner.
Caden's Evangelion Corner. I'm sad to say, it might be ending here pretty soon.
Oh,
because, boys, this has been long anticipated. Like. For a year, for a solid year on this podcast.
And for many more years for the general fan base. I mean, I can't imagine. Right. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, if you're involved in any way in Evangelion, you'll know 3.0 plus 1.0 has officially been released after 9 years.
Oh fuck.
9 years of waiting. It's here.
It's been so
So all I'll say is, if you're wanting to go in complete spoil free, don't watch the newest trailers that Car is posting on YouTube and Instagram and stuff.
They like to do the
Couple new
funny.
trailers came out today. Not definitely not completely, but like it just sort of showed a lot of stuff that's like, oh, I didn't realize that would be in the movie.
I didn't even know that detail.
Which, you know, the good news is it was like a couple characters, one in particular, but it was like a flashback, so it was like, oh, okay, you don't know for sure if they're gonna be like in the present time or if it's gonna be a flashback.
Sure.
You know, whatever. It seemed like it was a flashback. I'm not 100% sure if it was, but I mean, I think everyone's just very excited to see this movie, for sure.
I am, for sure.
It's been extremely long. It's been a long wait.
Extremely hard.
Yeah.
Extremely long and hard.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
The penis.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Phallus.
And I mean, for me personally, this is literally my favorite, TV show of all time, and
the number one.
Honestly, now that I think about it, one of my favorite TV series of all time. Or not one of my favorite TV series. One of my favorite movie series of all time. And it's just I'm looking forward to this.
Rewatch, yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to this so much. I think, honest to God, at some point either we'll have to have a bonus episode or just maybe a whole new Evangelion
episode
rewatch
dedicated.
Episode.
Yeah. I would be down for that.
Which includes 3.0 plus 1.0. Which that's going to be the next fucking 3-hour long episode.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing this movie so much. It's, of course, been long anticipated, and I'm super excited to see it, and it looks good, and good movie. That's been the podcast.
Wait. There's a couple of pieces of news that I want to, since we're doing a kind of news section.
Okay.
First of all, we have some groundbreaking news, folks.
Oh, right.
Don Cheadle and Erwin Smith.
You completely subverted my expectations.
Erwin Smith from Attack on Titan of the Space Jam are going to be in Space Jam 2, which we will be covering, and which will be our headliner, the headliner for that episode when it comes out.
That's confirmed,
now,
by the way.
Okay, so I'm kind of iffy about this news because I'm actually very angry with the studios for changing Lola Bunny's design from thick, hot-ass mommy milkers, thick thighs bunny girl to, like, what the fuck even is it? Guys, remember what they took from me.
We're going to need to shut the fuck up.
Remember what they took from you, okay? So, yeah, Don Cheadle and Erwin Smith as the announcer. Do you know how fucking hype that's going to be when he's in the fucking stadium with
unnamed announce? I mean, I assume it will be.
No, yeah. With his Erwin Smith voice. Do you know how amazing that's going to be? Okay, no, he's probably not going to do. He's probably just going to do a fucking random announcer voice. But can you imagine?
I'm going to specifically be listening for J. Michael Tatum's voice while we're watching.
Yes. So, I mean, I guess we will be covering this. I want to cover this.
Yeah. So. We'll be covering this. Dude.
We have to watch the original Space Jam, though. We have to watch it.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
We're going to be covering not Kong Skull Island. Godzilla versus Kong, probably, maybe.
I'll be watching the Zillaverse movies. So
we're going to be covering Nobody starring Bob Odenkirk.
The number one movie in America.
If we're on the news grinds here pretty fast, I'd like to say I just found out today that Tokyo Babylon 2021 just got canceled.
Oh shit!
Well,
good.
Really.
They made fucking. Oh.
Apparently, like, it got canceled in its current state, and now they're just completely getting a new staff, which I assume is probably due to the backlash because the trailer doesn't look good. The characters don't look good. They took Seishiro's wide ass tux look.
They softened him. They made his shoulders a little smaller. They softened him up.
Yeah. Which, rewatching X, that man's a unit. in both Tokyo Babylon and X. And so
he's no soy boy.
He absolutely not. But yeah, that's happened. Fucking Attack on Titan season 4
I was about to say
part 2.
More news. Yeah. Winter 2022.
Yep, December 2022.
Yeah. So that's actually when I saw that I was scared for a second. I was like, what the fuck?
I was like,
no.
Oh, it's gonna be so long.
Fuck.
No.
And the manga
onlys
are gonna spoil everything.
Oh, we're gonna get spoiled by that time anyways.
We won't hold out for that long. But no, I'm excited for that. Obviously,
I'm hyped. I just watched the final episode right before recording the podcast.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it on the next episode. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, probably.
I was gonna talk about the other piece of news that was announced, but we haven't really covered that show, so I won't talk about it.
Oh, okay. Oh, right.
I'll save it for another time. But I mean, so do you want to? So yeah, we covered Mob Psycho this month. Do you want to drop any hints as to what we're consuming this month? Or do you want to keep it vague? You want to keep it vague?
What studio is it? It's not the same. Is it the same? No, it's Madhouse. Right?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. You'll just have to find out. It's long. We'll just say that. Yeah, it's long.
It's long. It's gonna be a grind. Okay, now that you say that, I just fucking remembered that we're watching this, and I'm gonna have to get started on the grind.
Yes, we will.
Let's go. No, actually, I watched the first episode, but I haven't watched anything past that. So,
look forward to a long show that I've heard is apparently very good.
Yep, it's one of those. Let's just say it's one of those deep intellectual shows.
Right. It's not for the average man.
It's not for the average soy boy.
Yes. With that being said, this has been the Misfortune Podcast.
This has been the Misfortune Podcast.
I'm so thankful that we actually got to record this episode.
Yes.
And honest to God, I completely forgot that you're recording on AirPods. It sounds fun.
My engaging commentary should make up for all the flaws in audio, honestly.
But
this has been a good episode.
It has. This is like one of my favorites so far.
Honestly, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So I hope y'all enjoyed.
Outro music's probably playing. Fucking non-copyright song that we found by coincidence. It's a banger.